Retro Hangover, supported via Patreon by listeners like you. We would especially like to thank patrons Lyle McCarnes, Tony G, Tom the Superhero, Studstill Smash the Milkman, Lucas from Game Over Hell, Mast Keaton, Ozzy Garcia, JC, Megan Caruso, Rick Firestone, Dave Jackson, Jenny E, Retro Overdrive, Soha, The Emperor, Storm Beagle, Matt, aka Stormageddon, Van Vernal and B-Ross from Super Garbage Day, Randall Quiggle, Raging Demon, Keith Gasper, The Retro Vixen, Eric Guess, Nomad from the Retro Wildlands podcast, Ash Event, Alan Bingham, Mike the Ref from Backbreaker Gaming, Ryan Player One, Alt, Gary Heather, Low 5 Alex, Renner Dreamin', Oh Me, Makeshift Money, and Sega Boy 7. Your continued engagement and generous donations are deeply appreciated.
Open your ears and crack some beers. You are listening to the most recent episode of Retro Hangover.
Retro and classic gamers, welcome to the podcast where we sonically struggle sincerely, sounding stupendous, stupidly stalling salient saltiness. This is Retro Hangover. I am your co-host, Chris Copleen, with special guest, Keith Gasper from the Main Quest podcast. And, as always, your host, Shane. Knuckles Deep Dick
Do you feel the sunshine, Chris?
No, but Knuckles is feeling where your sun don't shine.
Aha. I was going to ask if it was in a bag, but then that was like another. Is that obscure now? Bag? I don't. Is that an obscure reference now? I don't know. We're old.
Yes. In fact, this episode is coming out one day before this show turns 10 years old.
Holy shit. So that's right.
It is. This is technically the 10-year anniversary episode, and I completely forgot.
God damn it. And it's Sonic.
And we couldn't have a Sonic episode without our great friend Keith being here. So, Keith, thank you for being on the 10-year anniversary Sonic episode where we talk about Sonic R. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks. Well, am I thankful for you having me on this episode? I don't know anymore. And
I hate everything about this now.
Like I have to wonder if I'm the one being punished or if it's your audience being punished when I come on these, because surely they like Sonic, and then I still keep coming on here.
By this point, for everything we've said over the years, if our audience considers themselves to be punished, it makes sense. I mean, Shane's a Dark Souls fan, so I guess that tracks.
True.
But
and now now just finding out that I'm on your 10-year anniversary episode, which, by the way, like, holy shit, you guys, that's amazing. Like, that's crazy. Congratulations. That's
nuts.
That's a long time. Now I just kind of feel like a cuck in the chair while you and Shane you guys are having a little date night here and getting a little romantic, and so
it wasn't planned. We'll save all that for the flight where we talk about like favorite Final Fantasy characters or something. Also appropriate.
But no, yeah, thanks for having me on, of course, joking aside and everything.
Yeah, always great to have you, and thanks for coming back. Great friend of the show, member of King of Games, not just 99, but so many of them, and you've always in our circle. It's great to have you there, and yeah, I guess it's an honor to have you here for this 10-year Sonic anniversary episode. I feel dirty.
You should.
All this, but
and I'm not nervous at all.
Oh, good. I'm going to put all the pressure on you. Just
If this episode fails, it's all your fault, Keith. It's not ours, of course. Anyway, before we get into Sonic, we like to talk about the games that we've been playing lately. And as is tradition, we let our guests go first before me and Shane round it out. So, Keith, what games have you been playing lately?
Boy, what have I been playing lately? Shoutout, I'm going to talk about a game from a local developer here in Milwaukee called Newt Industries. They've released 2 games, and they're working on their 3rd game as of now. Their first game, which you can't get anymore, was this mobile game called Garbage. It was basically just a garbage sorting simulator. Then they released another game on, I think it's on Switch as well as PC. I've been playing it on the PC called Risk System. And it's basically like a bullet hell shoot 'em up. And I'm not like the biggest fan of shoot 'em ups, just because I'm really bad at them typically. But this is kind of like more shoot 'em up than it is, or I'm sorry, it's more bullet hell than it is shoot 'em up, because you don't have to really focus on like shooting. So basically the presentation of the game, it's just your typical like side scrolling shoot 'em up. There's no Tate mode or anything like that, though.
Tate mode.
Maybe they could put that in at some point. I think they're done with the game. I don't think they're going to be adding anything else. But also you have like these short little cutscenes and stuff with the character portrait showing up, kind of like a game I played recently called Steam Hearts, where there's kind of like an interaction between the characters on screen and stuff while you're flying and shooting and stuff like that.
A lot of interaction.
Yes, lots. Yes, not that kind of interaction though. It doesn't get as sensual as you would want it to be in your shooter, so you could shoot.
There's a lot of shooting too.
But it's both. The name of the game is basically you're dodging the enemies and bullets instead. You are firing, but it's automatic. You don't have to think about it, and so the name of Risk System comes into the fact that you have to get close to the bullets and the enemies in order to basically charge up your weaponry, charge up your specials, and stuff like that. It's a really interesting concept for a game. The only thing I'm kind of finding that it lacks is just a good group base of like power-ups. There's not a lot of power-ups in the game, if at all. I wish there would have been a little bit more of that, because it's a very like flashy game and it has very great, like beautiful pixel art and everything like that. So I'm just kind of wondering where their line of thinking was to not like put any power-ups, or if maybe it would have made the game a little unbalanced or something. But it's like, I don't know. I don't know if I'm bad at it or not. It's really, really hard. I think I've only gotten to I think there's 6 levels. So it's technically a short game, but I cannot get past level 4. It's very tough. But yeah, having a good time. Risk System. If you guys want to check that out, help out a local developer here. They're working on their 3rd game called Bangle and Maggie, which is, from what I know, is more of like a beat 'em up mixed with like, of course, RPG elements and stuff like that. No release date on that or anything right now, but yeah. Also, the trailer for Risk System is cool as hell. If you ever want to do yourself a favor and check that out. Other than that, and like playing Clay Fighter on the Genesis for my show.
That's a choice.
Which yeah,
that is, well,
that is,
I understand.
That's a 12-year-old choice. That's a choice made by 12-year-old Keith, which I'm paying for now.
Look, I loved Clay Fighter back in the day. You've been excused.
Yeah, I can't really say much. I played Clay Fighter on the N64 like more than I should have.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's how could you not? Like, it was the most 90s ass thing available. It's like Mortal Kombat, but it's a little funny and like somehow a little more edgy than Mortal Kombat. You know, like, oh, it's this fucking snowman's gonna fight a a taffy guy.
Hey, that's bad, Mr.
That's
Frosty.
So
random.
To you. Right. Excuse me. But yeah, I mean, that's mostly been what I've been up to.
I have to wonder about what was it called? Risk. You said
Risk System.
Risk System.
Risk System. I have to wonder if that's they got some inspiration. There's a game, I don't know if it's Cyveriar or if it's Starfighter Vane. But they have a similar thing, but it sounds like it's more streamlined because you don't have to hold down fire, which is awesome. That sounds like my kind of jam. And I don't think we've had shooters like that in a long time, or at least more mainstream ones. So definitely looking to support stuff like that. And you should support your independent creators, especially when they're making quality content. Mm-hmm. So yeah, Risk System.
Yes, it has officially been added to my Steam wish list.
Nice. So Shane, what have you been playing?
Oh man, let's see. Well, just recently, at the time of this recording, I celebrated the day of the mothers in, the best way possible by playing a game about postpartum depression and possibly cannibalism. So,
oh
yeah, there you go. To be fair, I did not know that game was going to take that turn. But for a roughly 2 hour, semi-interactive walking simulator horror experience, it wasn't too bad. Apparently, it's called The Park, by the way, for folks listening, if you aren't familiar. Evidently, it is a spin-off title from the Secret World franchise, which you would never know, and it doesn't honestly make much of a big difference, like whether you know that or not. It stands kind of on its own, but it's an interesting tidbit, I guess. But yeah, there's that. And, honestly, most of my time has just been trying to get the hours clocked in on, stuff that we got coming up for the show. This is a little spoilery probably, but I'm sure most people will forget by the time that episode rolls around. But I got to say that I am pleasantly in a spot where when I say trying to get time in on a game that we're going to talk about, it's not trying in the sense that I am forcing myself to play it so that I can talk about it in a semi-authoritative fashion. It's more like I'm trying to carve out the time in my otherwise busy schedule because I actually really want to keep playing it because it's really good. So that's a nice change. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's pretty much it, man. Just this stuff, just bombing around 5 tracks on a Sonic game and other things. So there you go. Well, what about you? What you been doing?
I am playing a lot of the game that we're going to be talking about for our next mainline episode. I don't want to give it. I don't want to give away. I don't want to give it away. I think if you're on the Discord, you already know how I feel about the game. I've been playing a lot of it, so I think that gives enough of an indication. But outside of that, yes, I'm playing, much like you, games for content. Played some NBA Jam Tournament Edition for the Sega Saturn. Also played some Virtua Cop for the Sega Saturn. And let me tell you, playing Virtua Cop with a light gun is a lot better than playing it with the Saturn D-pad. I know it's a shocking revelation to many of you. That'll be very difficult for people to believe that a light gun would work better in a game about shooting people than a controller. But believe me, it does work.
I have a question.
Yes, Keith.
You can play that game with a controller?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Then maybe that's how I did it when I was a kid. Because I don't remember having a light gun for that game.
No, I didn't either.
When I had it, or when my friend, I don't know if my friend had it. I don't remember which one of us had it. But that was one of those things where, like, when I was looking at the list of stuff that I have to do for my show, I was like, I had Virtua Cop, but like, I don't have a light gun now. So anyway, that answers my question. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. No. I mean, that's a good point, because Virtua Cop, I'll probably put this all back in iOS Etch and Alien as well, but like, Virtua Cop was one of the games that came with the Saturn in Christmas of 1996 as part of the 3-console Christmas. It had Virtua Cop, Virtua Fighter 2, and Daytona USA, but it didn't come with a light gun. So I'm pretty sure a lot of people who played Virtua Cop played it with their Saturn control pad, which by that point was the second one. So like, oh, fond memories of a control pad Virtua Cop. Like, did you play with the gun? Probably not, because those things are hard to find. They're not expensive, but like that's probably because there's only 3 games on the Saturn that are worth playing with the light gun. So there's that. But I had a blast with it. Pun not intended. Virtua Cop's a good game. But in terms of what I've been playing outside of stuff for content, nothing. Unfortunately. Just a lot of RPGs. Thanks, patrons. You're the best. Appreciate it. I mean, I'm enjoying my time with them. So
I thought you were King Weeb. I like RPGs are like, that's your corner, man.
No, yeah. It's great.
You even found a Weeb wizardry game.
Oh, I can't wait to talk about that because wizardry is so weeb. It is so weeb, and it's not weeb.
Dude,
oh man,
because when I look at those old wizardry games, I do not get like anime waifu vibes or anything. Like it just looks like your very standard Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, that's because they were
fair.
That's because they were.
Yeah,
and then at some point, Japan
embraced the fuck out of wizardry.
They sure did.
Yeah, they literally gave it like a huge hug. Yeah.
Yep.
That's why kobolds are dogs, is because of Japan.
Bury the face in them waifu titties.
Yes.
Hell
Shout out to Stika, who will be joining us on our wizardry episode, by the way, because we are going to be talking about Wizardry Labyrinth of Lost Souls. We're not playing the Apple II version. Fuck that. That is not happening.
He probably is.
Pluck my eyeball. Oh, no, he's not.
Oh, okay. I could totally see him playing it, though.
That would be an interesting conversation.
No, I mean, he probably has. Yeah. So let's talk about Labyrinth of Lost Souls. Oh, I played the Apple II version. You have an Apple II? I emulated it. How? Anyway. All right. I think it's about time to get into this week's episode. What do you think, Shane?
Well, I suppose we probably ought to do that. So I feel like there is no one better to handle this brief history than the number one resident hedgehog fanboy himself, Chris. So
oh no, I was gonna say, wow, he's not talking about me, thank God.
Yeah. So I don't know, Chris, you want to give the fine people a brief history of Sonic R?
I suppose I shall.
Can you see the sun is shining on me? It makes me feel so free, so alive. It makes me want to survive.
Gotta go fast is the phrase that instantly brings Sonic the Hedgehog to mind. A rallying cry for a character and a franchise built around speed. From the very beginning, Sega made Sonic synonymous with momentum, using his signature quickness as a cornerstone of their marketing for the legendary Blue Blur. Yet, for all his velocity, Sonic was missing one thing in the early days: his own console racing game. This absence became glaring in 1992 when Mario launched his own kart racer, seemingly making it a rite of passage for every gaming mascot to have a spin around the track. Sega, never one to be outdone by Nintendo, answered with Sonic Drift for the Game Gear in 1994. But the Game Gear, despite its color screen and ambitions, was never the juggernaut the Genesis was. So Sonic's first foray into racing didn't quite set the world alight. With the Saturn not having a Sonic game and the appetite for a true Sonic game on a home console growing, the idea sort of made sense. Sonic is fast, his friends are fast, and a racing game felt like a natural fit. After the release of Sonic 3D Blast in 1996, Sega decided it was time for Sonic to break into 3D, for real this time, and Traveler's Tales, having impressed Sega with their technical prowess, were brought on board. Coincidentally, they were already tinkering on a new 3D engine, and the stars seemed to align. Sonic Team joined the project, designing the tracks and gameplay concepts, while Traveler's Tales brought those ideas to life. The plan was to let players race through classic Sonic environments, but tight deadlines meant the number of tracks had to be limited. Still, there was a clear intent to reward exploration and progress, broadening the experience beyond simple racing. Sonic R finally hit the Sega Saturn in North America on November 18, 1997, with Europe and Japan following soon after. A PC version would arrive a year later. Critically, the game received a warm, if not glowing, reception of 69% aggregate on game rankings,
nice,
but earning higher marks from outlets like EGM and Game Informer. Reviewers praised its graphical flair, especially how it cleverly masked the Saturn's technical limitations with transparency effects, and they enjoyed the inventive track designs that encouraged both racing and exploration. The main criticisms centered on the game's brevity and some gameplay quirks. Commercially, Sonic R struggled, hampered by the Saturn's waning fortunes in the West and Sonic's limited appeal in Japan. Later, Sonic R would be included in the Sonic Gems collection for the GameCube and PlayStation 2, where it was met with a much colder reception from critics. Yet, if the game itself faded into obscurity, its soundtrack became the stuff of legend, memorable tunes that would resurface in later Sonic racing games and even the Super Smash Bros. Series. For those who remember, Sonic R is a nostalgic snapshot of a time when Sega was willing to experiment, chase trends, and try to capture lightning in a bottle, reminding us that sometimes the journey is just as memorable as the race itself. Can you feel the sunshine? And that is your brief history of Sonic R.
The people wanted the fast Sonic, Chris.
I didn't write that.
They want people. They wanted Sega to make good on all of that bullshit marketing.
They sure did.
You're telling me this isn't a Sonic pirate game? I thought we were playing Sonic R.
Sonic R Hedgehog in Hawaii. That's the name of the game.
You know, of all the spin-offs they've had with Sonic, why haven't they made a Sonic pirate game?
Yeah, they made Werehog.
Fucking Werehog. Oh my god.
I guess that's too much water for Sonic to handle.
Too much water. Too much water. That's it. I mean, can you think of an aquatic hedgehog? I mean, everyone does love the water levels in Sonic games.
Yeah.
Isn't a sea urchin just an underwater hedgehog?
Sonic the Sea Urchin.
the Echo the Dolphin crossover we were all hoping for.
Yeah, get Ed Annunziata on that ASAP.
I want a Sonic the Sea Urchin game, man. Let's go.
I mean, does he have any, like, what are his aquatic friends? He doesn't have any. No wonder he doesn't like the water. Vector doesn't count.
No, he doesn't, does he? No, he has the crocodile guy.
No, Vector doesn't count. That's like a swamp.
There's water in swamps. I know that when I have swamp ass, there's plenty of water down there.
Oh no. I mean, what about Big and Froggy? There's a lot of fishing involved.
Froggy's aquatic.
Yeah.
Froggy's not really a character as much of his these
annoyance, pain in the ass.
Not even that. Yeah, we can go with that. Sure.
Mm-hmm.
more kindly pseudo MacGuffin, perhaps. I don't know.
They need to make a dolphin with Toad. Echo didn't work.
Mm-mm.
They need to reinvent.
Oh God,
this.
I don't even. Okay. I
like
really, my brain really thought you were about to say a dolphin with tits, and I was like, I feel like that's probably happened.
That too.
That's probably happened.
Hey, look,
there's a Sonic character. There's a bat with tits. Shane, it exists
giant
already.
Tits, big tits,
big old
that is
titties.
true. That is true.
Yeah, her tits are bigger than Amy herself.
Was Rouge in one of the movies? Is she in the newer one?
I don't know.
I haven't seen the third one, so I don't know.
I haven't seen the second or third one, honestly.
Mm.
I want to see the first one.
I won't spoil anything.
Is she in there or not?
Rouge?
Are the bat titties present, Keith?
No, they are not.
Oh, well,
Damn.
fine.
I don't think the audience for those movies is ready for bat titties.
I mean, they got to have their awakening moment at some point. Why not bat tits?
We gave them bat nipples with the Batman movies in the 90s.
Yeah, things were different back then.
Those kids weren't alive then.
Were they?
We also had Michelle Pfeiffer in like a full latex suit.
That is true.
Which, yeah, we need more of that.
Totally didn't, shape my values in women at all.
Yeah. You know what? As a kid, I didn't appreciate Michelle Pfeiffer.
She still
As an
looks
adult, as an adult, I appreciate Michelle Pfeiffer a lot more. I don't know why that has to do with Sonic, but it was a cat.
It doesn't matter. Whatever we can do to not talk about this game, I'm perfectly okay with that.
We fucking do this every time. We know when we're talking about a game where we either don't really want to talk about it or we just know there's not a lot of shit to say because we just immediately veer off into fucking left field about literally anything else.
Bat tits.
Yep.
I wonder how that milk tastes.
This game would have been better with bat tits in it.
I feel like you could say that about any game, really.
I'm sure there's a mod. Yeah. I'm sure there's a mod out here in which Shane, I hear you could probably speak to the mods for this game.
I'm sorry, what?
Probably replaces Tails with Rouge because Rouge can also fly, but also has tits.
I'm sure the more likely mod is giving Tails a giant penis.
Or turning all of his tails into peni.
But let's get into our personal experiences with this game. I'm pretty sure it's going to all be very similar. I might have the most here. I'm going to hold myself off for last. So Shane, let's have you kick this off. What's your personal experience with Sonic R?
I didn't know Sonic R was a racing game.
But what did you think it was?
A fucking Sonic game, Chris. Game. I don't know.
What did you thought the R meant?
Reloaded Sonic. I don't know, man. They name things weird shit.
That should be the next Shadow game. Shadow Reloaded.
There you go.
And make it a racing game. Make it like Road Rash, where you have to shoot your opponents as you race past them the entire time.
Hell yeah! Let's make a Twisted Metal Sonic racing game. There we go.
Yes, Shadow Reloaded, and it's going to be like Twisted Metal. That would be dope.
I just they're coming out that Sonic racing game. Maybe there's something to that.
Yeah, I just don't know why they haven't had Shadow in just like a full on trench coat. Like just do it already. Like. We all know it's there in spirit, right?
Send him to a high school.
Jesus. I don't know. So Shadow is such a nice, quiet hedgehog. And then he started playing those Doom games. And anyway, good God, we are so fucking off track.
All Shadow ever talks about is the trench coat mafia for some reason.
He likes the Marilyn Manson music.
Yeah. We always bullied him and called him slurs. I don't know why he's so angry inside.
Anyway, back to my personal experience, I guess. Yeah, I didn't know anything about this game. And then I was like, man, how do I even play this game? And then I found out that it actually was released on PC and was able to obtain a copy of it for the PC, and then with the assistance of some pretty straightforward mods, thanks to the wonderful modding community out there, was able to get it up and running on Windows 11 without too much trouble. So there you go. Apparently, comparatively, the PC version is like the definitive version because it's just like across the board better quality. So, which is probably not surprising.
Yeah, probably not. I mean, it also came out like it had a whole entire year of time in the oven.
Yeah.
It could be like, let's make some improvements here. I don't know why they would think that, but we'll probably discuss why.
What's there to improve?
Well, I don't know. the listener, you'll hear something if there is anything.
This is perfect. This game is wonderful.
10 out of 10. Game of the year. Mm-hmm. Keith, what is your personal experience with Sonic R?
Can we pull the curtain back just a little bit, even just for the listeners? Ashton, you can keep this in because I want to know if I screwed myself or not. Did I sign up for this?
Yes,
I did. I signed up for this game.
Keith is like, why the fuck am I here? Is this, did I do this to myself?
Okay. All right. Because when you messaged me like a couple weeks ago and you're just like, we need a record date for Sonic R, I was like, for what?
How dare you say that to me?
I actually looked through our conversations. I don't know where you committed to it.
Yeah, me either. So,
but you did. I'm sticking to that.
I believe you. Yeah. No. I have no personal history with Sonic R. I'm guessing that when I did sign up for it, I thought it was like another Sonic racing game and not like the bad one. I mean, the good one. So
you thought it was Sonic Racing Transformed, didn't you?
I thought it was something. And, you know, when I found out it was a Saturn game, I was like, oh, yeah, this is great because I want to find any opportunity to turn on my Saturn. I spent a lot of time modding that thing. I don't get to use it enough. And
you're welcome.
I was actually really excited coming into this because I'm like, okay, great. Get to come on Retro Hangover, hang out with Shane and Chris, talk about a video game. It's a Sonic game, but it's a Saturn Sonic game. Wait a minute. The Saturn didn't have any Sonic games. What the hell am I playing? And we'll talk about that in a moment. So that's my personal history.
Sweet.
Is it?
Yep, maybe. I think I played this once or twice. I didn't have the game growing up. I heard of it because I was a little bit of a not a Sonic freak. I mean, I guess you could levy that accusation towards me nowadays.
It's implied.
It is implied. Don't check my browser history. But I was a little bit of a Saturn freak growing up. I just really gravitated towards the system at some point, just like latched onto it. Like I was just going through the games, looking through all of them. So I'm sure that I at least tried it, but I don't remember having it. But I was very aware of its reputation. Looking through the brief history when I was writing the brief history and seeing the reviews from EGM and Game Informer, I do not remember it being received that well. Don't know why. I couldn't tell you why. No idea. But eventually, like the music started popping up. So I think I gave it another try sometime because I got like my mod for my Saturn about 4 years ago. So I can guarantee you in the past 4 years, I've given it a shot just because the music everyone says is really good. I don't know the sincerity of that feeling. It could be genuine, I'm sure. But it felt very memeable. And so I was very aware of everything that went on with the music there. So I was aware of Sonic R. I was aware it existed. I was aware that I had very little experience with it. So I'm happy that I got to experience it for reals this time. Also, I mean, in addition to the 10th year of the podcast, in real life right now, the 30-year anniversary of the Saturn was yesterday. So we're tying this all together. We're doing a Saturn episode on top. This is the best way to honor the Sega Saturn.
Say, what better way to honor its legacy?
Yes. Thank you for 30 years, Sega Saturn with Sonic R. But let's move into the plot and story writing. By the way, Shane, did you know this game actually has a plot?
I was about to ask. I'm like, do we even have this section today? Because I don't know.
Wait. Hold on. Before we make fun of the plot, can we just go back to the development real quick? Because I have something that's very damning and kind of going back to the reception that you were talking about.
Damning with Sonic R? No.
You wouldn't believe it. But I have it pulled up right here on sonicretro.org /Sonic_R.
That's what the R stands for.
It's a part of the Sega Retro family of sites.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. Very informative. So basically, Traveler's Tales, which is insane that they made this game. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the other Traveler's Tales games. They mostly
Vaguely,
do the
yeah.
Lego games now,
Mm.
as far as I know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they're basically hired guns by Sonic Team. And could you picture that Sonic Team and Sega completely mismanaged a Sonic game in 1996/97?
No way.
Sega mismanaging a major release in the mid 90s.
This is the
Sega
first I've heard of any of that. That's wild.
Sega's management in the mid 90s was like impeccable. It was the stuff of legends.
I mean, they had a Sonic Extreme slated to come out. I guess
Extreme.
that was canceled, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's been because it was too extreme.
Yeah, it was so extreme it couldn't possibly be played on the Saturn.
It was too extreme for Sonic Team.
And so Sonic Team was like, "Hey, Traveler's Tales, this racing game that you're making, make it a Sonic game instead." And so they did that. Basically, Sonic Team pulled the reins on this entire game, to which like Traveler's Tales basically had no creative input on it. They were basically just programming the game. And then there's this little blurb here in the development that says, quote, "The game appeared at E3 1997 in a playable form. However, John Burton, who was the head of Traveler's Tales at the time, noticed that people were giving up when Sonic ran into the water on an account of his underwater speed being so slow." End quote. So the fact people were playing the game at E3, like the game was pretty much ready to come out, and people were just like, "Yeah, no, I don't think so."
I don't think I will.
I guess one of the lead developers, if I can find their name in here, the Sega of Europe producer Katz Sato, apparently wanted to conduct a game design, change the game design, and got into a fight with Yuji Naka. And apparently it was so bad that Sato removed his name from the credits.
Wait, I thought Yuji Naka was like one of the best programmers to work with.
Look, everyone loves Yuji Naka.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Everyone loves him. Yeah.
Everybody
he would never
gets
do
along with
anything
him.
wrong.
Like, him and his teams, like they're legendary for a reason.
He's above board. He would never go to prison.
No. He's a leader.
Yeah. A true leader.
He's not a follower.
Absolutely not.
You could say he blazes his own trails like Sonic.
He certainly blazes.
420.
Like a cat.
Smoke it if you got it. Oh, that's where you're going. I was going with the drugs.
I mean, one leads to the other, I'm sure.
Does Blaze have tits?
Does Blaze have tits? Let me look this up. I'm going to look up official Blaze art, not...
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. You better be careful because Blaze might be like 6 years old.
Yeah. They're all 6.
Amy is canonically 8 years old.
She does not.
So the cat, like the furry you would think that would be the sexiest doesn't have tits.
She's very flat.
Listen, they are catering to all markets, okay? All demographics.
Gotcha. Yeah, gotcha.
She is a lovely representative of the itty bitty titty committee.
Also, I just feel like we just glossed over this, but Amy is canonically 8.
Yes.
What the fuck? Okay, great.
Oh, there was what was it? What was I don't know what magazine it was from. It was from some magazine in England, of course it was. And they're talking about how Sonic and Amy had probably had sex in a Sonic CD review.
Oh boy. Okay. Yeah.
She's also a tarot card reading fortune teller.
Yes. No, that's official.
Yeah, that's also official.
The rodent sex is speculative.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you. You just gave me the subtitle for this episode. Thank you, Chris. Sonic
Speculative
the rodent
sex?
sex is speculative.
Gotta go fast, Shane. Gotta go
Gotta
fast.
nut fast.
Anyway, Chris, you were about to regale us with a great story.
The story.
Oh, Jesus, we haven't even
This
got to the
episode is
story
good. I
yet.
love this. No, we haven't. All right, here we go. It's actually somewhat long.
Oh no.
It doesn't make any sense. Why does this
No, it
game
doesn't.
have a story? It doesn't make sense.
All right, here we go. The race is on.
Sonic and Tails are enjoying a little time off from their adventure. The trip they have planned will be a nice, relaxing vacation. Or so they think. Tails spots a huge sign along the road they are currently traveling on. It is a recruiting advertisement for the World Grand Prix. Sonic, look! There's going to be a huge race with all the best racers in the world. What a great opportunity for you to show your speed and compete with the other great runners. It's a Grand Prix? All right, Sonic thinks for a moment. He's the world's fastest runner, but participating in races is not really his interest. Something on the sign, however, catches Sonic's eye. Dr. Robotnik, Sonic's arch enemy, is participating in the race because of course he is. Sonic races off into the distance. Wait, Sonic, wait for me, Tails shouts to his friend. Miles above the sign, a spy satellite focuses on Sonic and Tails. Dr. Robotnik snickers in delight. Now that you have fallen into my trap, Sonic, I will finally have the Chaos Emeralds and beat you at the same time. With my new hover machine and these. Dr. Robotnik looks to his left, and a row of gleaming eyes gaze back at him. Nothing can go wrong. Little does Sonic know that Dr. Robotnik has learned of the location of the Chaos Emeralds. But Sonic is not the only one who will be racing with Dr. Robotnik. Sonic's rival, Knuckles, has learned that Sonic will be participating in a very important race. Knuckles never turns down a chance to be around Sonic when the action starts. And Amy will be there too. After secretly overhearing Dr. Robotnik's plans, she also will be racing to find the Chaos Emeralds. In Sonic R, you get the chance to be one of the 4 Sonic characters in a 4-course 3D race. Race quickly, but remember to look for the items which will help you along the way. And don't forget to find those Chaos Emeralds.
Oh my god, that's so Shakespeare.
So, like, are the emeralds, like, the prize for winning the race? Like, where do the emeralds come into this at all?
Also,
like,
if Robotnik already knows where they are, like, why the race?
Right. Like, I could see this as, like, a Looney Tunes, like, Wile E. Coyote bit where, like, Dr. Robotnik makes a sign to distract Sonic and be like, hey, you're a fast guy. Why don't you enter this race? And then while Sonic is off racing and doing his thing, Robotnik's going to go over here and go get the emerald while Sonic's distracted. That makes sense. But Robotnik is like, oh, yeah, I'm going to enter this race, too. And somehow the emeralds are going to play a role in this somewhere along the way.
I also love that it was like clearly, structured as this like foot race, even though it's called a Grand Prix. And Robotnik is just like, just going to hover his fat ass the entire way.
Yeah. Dude, he's just in his fucking hover scooter like the entire race.
It's a Grand Prix. It's a Grand Prix. That's a foot race, and someone with someone with a machine. You know what? Okay, fine.
Yep.
And I guess the Grand Prix organizers littered the Chaos Emeralds all over the course for people to get.
Yes.
Because they have them.
These very important world-altering objects.
I don't even know what the Chaos Emeralds do in this game. I have no fucking idea what they do in this. You can get them. I've gotten some. Somehow. I don't know what they do.
I think I accidentally ran into one once.
Yeah. Like those stupid Sonic... We'll talk about this in gameplay, I'm sure. But those stupid Sonic coins have more to do with it. Anyway... how did you feel that the story impacted your experience with Sonic R? How did it tie into the overall game?
I was incredibly invested. I don't know about either of you.
It makes The Last of Us look like a children's story. I think the romance that you have between Sonic
and Tails
and Amy and Knuckles and Tails at the same time.
I mean, I don't know about you guys. I don't see myself ever going back to Mario Kart after this.
I don't know. I mean, for story reasons. It's just a story reason.
Yeah, this is incredible.
I've never heard of a plot in Mario Kart.
No, neither have I. They're all just kind of together. Miyamoto is just like, yeah, they just know each other and they like to go golfing sometimes and do street racing.
If there's anything I've learned about modern gaming is that narrative means everything. So this automatically puts it above
Mario Kart.
True.
Yeah.
Now, what do you think was implied when Amy chose her little buggy car that she drives? She's driving a car. She's following the rules.
She is driving a car. She is. That's not explained in the story because it says Sonic is entering a foot race.
Right.
And Amy's in a car.
Well, she's here.
Robotnik's in a hovercraft. Amy is here.
I do like how they phrased that as this like complete afterthought. They're like, yeah, Knuckles is like, oh, my blue butt buddy's going to be there, so I better show up. And like Tails is like, oh, I'm on vacation with him and we're totally not together. And then they're like, and also Amy. Anyway.
And Amy, which is this is Amy's second console appearance ever. She was on Sonic Drift though. So apparently she only shows up for racing.
Yeah, she's one of those.
Was Peach in Super Mario Kart? Could you play as Peach?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I'm just trying to see like what
but you could play as Peach in Mario 2.
Like truly.
Are you trying to say if like Sonic R is more progressive or something? Is that what you're getting at?
Yeah, I guess, or like breaking ground as far as like characters go and stuff like that. But also Mario Kart, like you could play as Bowser and a Koopa Trooper, if I remember right, too. So you could even play as villains. So like,
and Donkey Kong Jr.
Yeah.
So it doesn't even have the furry crowd,
right,
to tap into.
But it has the scalies though, because you could be Yoshi.
True.
Yes. No, not Sonic R.
Oh, well, Sonic R is nothing but furries though.
Robotnik is not a furry.
Is Eggman a furry?
It's
you watch your
somebody's
tongue
fetish.
his name. I'm not saying it's not a fetish. Russian Teddy Roosevelt is definitely someone's fetish.
It's very progressive. That's progressive.
That's progressive. That's. I think we're done with the story. Let's move on to the gameplay, which I'm sure will be extremely short. I don't even know where to begin. I don't care who starts this. I'm not starting this.
I'll
Shane, how about go ahead, Keith.
Yeah. So okay, I've been playing a lot of racing games lately. I played Virtua Racing, and then after that I played some Daytona USA, and then I played Sega Rally. I played a little bit of Outrun. What's that Master System game? Oh man,
What kind of game?
Hang On.
Hang On. Yes, played some Hang On. So I've just kind of been all over the place with racing games as of late. When I found out that this was indeed a Sonic racing game, I was a little excited. And I'm like, okay, this is Sega, right? And then the Traveler's Tales logo pops up on the screen. And I'm like, okay, I'm not too familiar. I've heard of them. I'm not that familiar with them. I've played like those Lego Star Wars games, whatever. Let's see how this goes. Fuck this game, dude. It doesn't even like. So like it's a racing game. It is a racing game, but
it is.
But the pedigree of like Sega was just. I mean, say what you want about like how a lot of those early Sega racing games hold up today. It was like undeniable that they were making some of outside of Namco, were making like some of the best racing games of their day, and then to come and play something like this, thinking I'm going to get a similar experience to like a Daytona USA or something. Let me back up. So when you start this game, naturally you're going to like probably pick Sonic first, right? I don't know who do you guys pick when you first started playing?
I think I went Knuckles.
Yeah, I started with Knuckles, but that's because I saw something online that was just like Knuckles is the easiest one to start with, so you should do that. And I tried it, and I did not find that to be the case. But yeah,
I just like him because he has 4 penises.
Fair.
Oh, so you thought you had the advantage?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's more. I don't know where I'm going with that. Anyway, I just picked Sonic because I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, let's just see what this is about first before we really dive into the mechanics here. And like, it's just like, it is just Sonic running along a path. It's like the most like unceremoniously like just like racing ever. It's just very it's not even, it's like comical. Like you start playing it, you're like, is this a joke? Like, is this some sort of like weird meme or something? Like was this done on purpose? Because it's just like,
it definitely was
just the little pitter patter of his feet, and it's like he's not really moving fast, but like the weird like way he move, like the way the characters move in this game, it's like someone on Traveler's Tales never heard of traction, because it's like everybody's just sliding around like they're on ice. It is like the most slippery fucking game I've ever played in my entire life. And the fact that you can even call this a racing game is embarrassing. It's so bad. But now here's something I was thinking about though. And you and I, Chris, were kind of talking about it prior to recording. And that there was no real Sonic game on the Saturn. And the way that the tracks are designed, it's designed with exploration in mind. And so part of me is like, oh, this could have just been like a good 3D Sonic game. But instead, they wanted to make a racing game because they wanted to be competitive with Nintendo. And so it's just like, one, a bad racing game, and then two, just a bad Sonic game. Because we already mentioned the coins and the emeralds that you have to collect throughout the stage. You can collect a certain amount of coins to get through gates and unlock shortcuts and unlock the emeralds and stuff like that. But you still have to place first in order for any of that stuff to actually register. And it's
some of it.
Oh, is it some of it?
Yeah. So in order to beat the stage and advance to the next stage and beat the game and unlock Robotnik, you have to finish first. The emeralds, I think, you need to finish first in order to keep the emeralds, which I don't know what they do. But the coins, the Sonic coins, if you collect 5 of those and you finish within the top 3, then you can challenge the course's locked character.
Oh, okay.
But that one you don't have to finish first in.
But either way, I think my point still stands in that, like,
it does.
The way the characters maneuver, the fact that there's just no traction. There's almost no physics to their characters at all. Like, if you go and like collide with a wall, your character will completely bounce off the wall and go to the other side of the track. There's the game gives you no meaningful direction on like where exactly you have to go. So like on the, I don't know what the stage is called. I think it's like the 4th stage. It's basically the chemical plant zone stage.
Yeah.
I went through a gate and like it was just a fucking room with rings in it. And I'm like, okay, like great. Now I'm just stuck in this room. I can't get out because fucking Sonic's bouncing all over the place. And then once I finally did manage to get out, I was going the complete like opposite direction in which I needed to go because everything kind of looks the same. It's, I feel like I'm saying a lot here, and I feel like I'm taking a lot away from you and Shane. Let me reorganize my thoughts, and somebody else can go.
All right. I mean,
I'm going to echo. Go ahead, Shane.
I'll go ahead and jump in, I guess. So I agree with pretty much everything you said, and that's one of the things that really stuck out to me from like just a game design perspective is that it felt like this game was at odds with itself. It's like it tried to be two completely different things at the same time and achieved neither of them really at all. Like the fact that it's a racing game, and then B, the expectation is that you are going to just explore the level, man. You know, just take in the sights. That's not how a fucking racing game works, first of all. But then you layer on top of that, and I can already hear the argument being made of like, well, that just means you got to learn the levels. You got to get good at it so that you can collect all the things and then do it in a certain time frame. Whatever. Fuck you. That's terrible game design. Like the fact that they're simultaneously like, hey, explore this level. Look at all the nooks and crannies and find the collectibles, but then also you don't get to keep some of those unless you place it a certain, placement at the end of the race. It's so there's just this like dissonance between those two things that makes just zero fucking sense. And then from like a control perspective, you kind of, or at least I did, you kind of get accustomed to it eventually. I thought it was hilarious, by the way, that like the game facts guide that I was following for this to kind of get my bearings on like how I should approach some of these things, just straight up was just like, just learn to love bouncing off of shit. Make it part of your strategy because that's how the game plays. Just careen off fucking walls because that's going to be the way to go. And I'm just like, I mean, that's an approach, I guess. But like the fact that your character controls as if they're going 100 miles an hour in that, to your point, Keith, like if they hit anything, they just like rocket into space. But then like at the same time, they're going roughly the same speed as like a moped. It's like,
yeah, man, like
it's so
there's
weird.
no sense of actual speed. Like there's no momentum. Like
no,
all those other racing games I mentioned, like Sega Rally, Daytona USA, like it feels like you're going fast.
Yeah.
This doesn't.
No, it really doesn't.
Yeah.
For what it's worth, I did get to a point. I mean, granted, I maybe spent 30 minutes with this game total, but that's also like half of the time I guess you would need if you really wanted to try to do most of the things anyway. But I got through all the racetracks. I placed first on each one, one time. So I felt like I accomplished things. And in the course of going through those 5 tracks, like I got enough of a handle on it that I could control it fairly well. But that is not like an excuse for how the game handles though, because it's just generally pretty bad. And it's bad when the community sentiment is basically like, yeah, really just kind of use like these 1 or 2 characters because the rest of them are hot trash and don't bother.
So I like the fact that you brought up Daytona USA and Sega Rally Championship and kind of Sega's racing pedigree coming up to this, because it is disappointing that you do have Sonic Team who has done a lot of good work. For whatever you want to say about Yuji Naka and company, they did a lot of good work back then. Whether or not you appreciate that today is up to you. But AM2 was like right there.
Yes. Thank you. I think I mentioned that in your Discord. I'm like, dude.
Yeah.
They're like right across the office.
You could be like, hey, can you take a look at this and tell us what you think? And AM2 probably didn't show it to them for that reason exactly, because they didn't want to hear what they had to think, because then they would have to trash the game, another Sonic game again. But it sounds like I played a little bit more, was more successful at least than either of you two. I was able to beat all the levels fairly easily once I got my mind around the controls. Actually, the first 2 levels were the one I struggled with the most. And I was able to unlock Metal Sonic. I was almost able to unlock the weird, creepy puppet tails thing.
Yeah, what the fuck is that?
It's so, I don't understand the lore. So there's like a Mecha Knuckles and a Mecha Tails or Puppet Tails. I don't know. There's no Mecha Amy.
That was the other thing that I'm like, is this some sort of joke? Is this some sort of, what is this creepy like fanfic Tails in this game?
But the thing is like, oh, by the way, I didn't know that B was accelerate at first. I thought up was accelerate.
It is.
So I was hating life.
Both are.
Yeah, you're right. They both are. Oh. But I didn't know there was a button. I just thought it was up. You had to hold up the entire time. and I was struggling mightily. I was very upset. But eventually, yeah, I got used to the characters, and all of them have their own abilities. Tails can fly for a little bit. Sonic can double jump. Knuckles can glide. Amy can speed up and like do a wheelie or whatever, because she's relatively useless outside of that. And then once you unlock Robotnik has no penalty for hovering over water. But the name of the game, in terms of a racing game, is, hey, see this track? Fuck that track. Figure out a way to just bypass everything. And that's the name of the game. But it's also explore, find stuff. So it's telling you to do two things, but you really need to focus on one or the other. And exploring isn't fun in this game. There's no enjoyment.
No, because it controls like shit. So no.
Yeah.
So if people want to be like, oh, it's kind of like Diddy Kong Racing. Almost every collectible in Diddy Kong Racing is placed in a manner that in a normal race setting, you can naturally get it if you know where it is. Like it's not going to completely disrupt your gameplay with certain exceptions, right? Because, Rare likes to do some fuckery. But this game is like, yeah, just like, again, going to the first level as an example, collecting these Sonic coins. It requires you to literally go all the way off the course onto an island in the middle of the water. Why would you even look there? Like, what's the point? If you're in a race, what's the impetus for the player to go, you know what? And not for some stupid Easter egg shit, because Mario Kart 64 people are going to be like, well, you can go see the castle from Mario 64 if you explore a little bit in one of those races there. Yeah, you're right. You can. Congratulations, you found it. So did all of us. But like in Sonic R, like that's part of the gameplay catch. That's what they want you to do. Why though? There's no reason.
I have to imagine it is purely out of trying to wring every bit of longevity out of like 5 tracks that they possibly could.
I think that too, and that also part of the reason why the handling is so poor in this game is that they want you to veer off course and see these extra little bits of the stages that you might otherwise not see if you're just staying on the track, because it's very hard just to even stay on the track.
I don't know if that's a generous take or a damning one, to be honest with you.
Let's make our controls so shit that they'll just get thrown off the track to find the things we want them to.
I mean, here's my question for you guys, because I just literally finished the game like an hour before I sat down to record with you guys. And the last stage, which is like a Rainbow Road knockoff, is like you're pretty much going straight like the entire stage. Was there any time you guys were able just to like control your character and go in a straight line? Because I don't think I could.
Rarely.
Not really.
Yeah. I think that was the last stage is actually the most amount of fun, because you just turn your brain off.
Yeah.
That's the best stage. All the other ones, it feels like chaos. And no, that's not me trying to get into the Sonic lore here. It just feels like complete fucking chaos. It feels more like a proof of concept. That's what it feels like. It feels like they cobbled some shit together and said, hey, look and see what Sonic can do when he can race. And Sega's like, fuck it, press it. And they're like, wait, like this is just the demo. They're like, what? Oh, fuck it. Let's just get it. Let's get it out there. It's good enough. That's how it feels.
Feels like a fan game.
Yeah, it does. And like to go to the point that like Sonic and crew just kind of fly all over the track no matter what. Amy controls the best for what it's worth, but she goes like 10 miles an hour. So who cares? Like it's just there's no, you said no sense of speed. It's not the sense of speed. It's the sense of traction. It doesn't ever feel like any of these characters are on the actual road.
Well, they aren't. There is no traction. There's nothing.
There's
here.
Not.
There's none.
There's none.
There's zero.
There's no traction.
There's not even any semblance of traction. They don't even try.
The closest you get actually is with Robotnik. That's where the closest amount of traction is. But by that point, you're just like, I'm not even going to go on the track.
Yeah, fuck me.
I'm just going to like
Robotnik, so
go in a general direction of how to win the fucking race. I don't care. That's the Robotnik plot there. So it's just,
I mean, I didn't play as Amy either. Does Amy's car feel like you're driving a car?
Not well.
Why?
No. It feels better than the other ones for what it's worth.
Oh my God. And that's like the thing where like, I've been one of those assholes for years that has been like, oh, fucking Sonic in a fucking race car. Like, why would he ever want to be in a race car?
Well, you found out.
And here I am playing this game where I'm like, oh, this is the game. Okay. They did this. They did the thing that I've been complaining about all these years. And now I know why. Now I know why Sonic's in a car. I apologize to everybody who I've talked shit to about him being in a car. And I'm glad you brought up the Diddy Kong Racing parallel, because as I was playing the game, I was like trying to do whatever I could to give this game any type of credit, because I didn't know when this released initially. Apparently this released either like a couple days before or a couple days after Diddy Kong Racing. So they're literally being developed in tandem. So I can't even give it credit for that, for like the exploration and racing combination, because Diddy Kong Racing kind of nailed it out of the gate, and then Crash Team Racing like really refined it and like perfected it. So like I can't even.
You know what this is? This is the Bubsy 3D of exploration racing.
Yeah. I mean, okay. Well, I haven't played Bubsy 3D. I already know.
You should.
No. I'm going to take your word for that.
And in terms of, it was made at the same time that Diddy Kong Racing was. So you can imagine, like, I can see Traveler's Tales or Sonic Team or whoever being like, oh yeah, like we're really trying something new here. This is going to lead the industry in terms of racing games, mascot racing games in the future. The gamer has to explore in order to unlock everything. They're really going to feel great about it. And then Diddy Kong Racing comes out like, fuck.
If this game, if Sonic R came out in 1995
as a launch game,
right, would we be slightly nicer to this game?
Maybe slightly. Slightly. It would have to be like exclusively a pack-in title with the console, because the fact that they charged full price for this is fucking criminal.
Yeah.
Especially when the Saturn was already pretty much on life support at this point. At least here.
You can beat this game in an hour.
Dude, can you imagine how mad you would be? Like,
it doesn't
paying full price for this game.
You hold this up to Daytona. And Daytona is very bare bones.
Yeah.
In terms of a racer. I'm taking Daytona in terms of its gameplay, its presentation, everything. I mean, this is kind of leading to the end of the episode. I guess we'll kind of quickly, the next section will quickly, because this is leading into a lot of it. But I take Daytona over this like 10 out of 10 times.
Yeah.
Like there's no comparison.
I would take Sonic 2 over this.
That's harsh. Are you sure?
I would take, I was on your Sonic Adventure episode. I would rather replay Sonic Adventure.
That's true.
Than play this again.
I think there's better racing in Sonic Adventure.
Yeah.
There's better racing in Sonic 2.
That's true. You can play 2-player and race against your friend. Yeah.
Yes. It's better there. All right. Anything else we want to talk about in terms of the gameplay? Because I think we've covered almost all the bases here. It's a very short game. There's not much to it. You find shortcuts. Shortcuts is the key to the game. But we said that.
One other thing that we didn't mention is that for some reason you have the ability to go into, I don't even know what they call it in Sonic, but into the little spinny ball mode there.
You do?
Yeah.
Spin dash.
Yeah. You can do a spin dash?
Yeah, don't though, because it fucking sucks.
Yeah.
I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah,
there's no control.
Yeah, no. And you can't even, like, I maybe I didn't do it right, but like I could not for the life of me actually gain any momentum in spin dash mode, like at all. Because in order to get into it, you have to be standing, and then you press down and you go into spin ball. But then you were standing, so you don't have any momentum. It's just, it's a complete fucking waste, but it's there.
You don't go in reverse. He ducks.
Yeah, he ducks. It's like they took the controls and like character models from just like from like Sonic Adventure and just dropped it into this game and was like, it's racing now.
No, you press down on Sonic Adventure, he goes backwards. He goes in that direction.
Okay, great. Well, that doesn't fucking happen here.
That sounds terrible.
There you go.
I do want to go back to something you said earlier, Chris, about finding the shortcuts and stuff like that. So I played as Tails for a majority of the game. That's how I played through it, and basically just flying over the entire track.
That's how the game is supposed to be played.
Which is terrible because like I'm just not doing the exploration because it ain't worth it. We already talked about it.
No,
so,
it's not. No.
The one thing that was getting me really frustrated is that chemical plant zone stage. That's the one that I had the most trouble with because there's not a lot of shortcuts. I did manage to find one where you speed up a ramp and then you can immediately, once you go off the ramp, immediately like clip off to the right and take a massive shortcut. The only problem is that like that stage has like 3 or 4 branching paths after that. And so whenever I get on the last lap and I'm nearing the finish line, I somehow found myself in like 4th place, even though I had been like in 1st place for like the first 2 laps. And that was incredibly frustrating. And then I read this on the sonicretro.org/Sonic_R website, specifically about the AI. And it says, while the specifics are not understood, computer players do appear to, quote unquote, learn better routes as the game progresses. One of the more obvious examples is the loop in the first level. When first playing the game, the computer will use the loop, but later we'll discover that it's just quicker to avoid it. So the computer is also learning the shortcuts of the game, which makes complete sense why I could never place first in that chemical plant zone stage, because the computer was also cheating.
Which begs the question, why is the loop there?
Why is it there? Yeah.
Why is it even fucking there?
And it was funny because when I first played Sonic R, my first impression of it on that first stage, I'm going through I'm staying on the track because I was like, this is a racing game. I have to stay on the track, but I keep fucking getting all over the place. I can't stay on the track, and I'm trying to hit that loop, and fucking here comes Robotnik to my right, just casually like in his fucking Walmart shopping cart, just strolling past the loop, and I'm like, wait, we can do that? What the fuck? I could just
the track
cheat?
Doesn't matter. It doesn't fucking matter. Like, it doesn't matter. None of this matters.
The racing in this racing game is more of a suggestion than it is an actual mechanic.
It's an Italian highway.
It's more like a set of guidelines.
That reminds me, you know how like you have those gates you have to open up with rings? If you open them up and there's shortcuts, the computer will use them.
Jesus Christ.
So you have to spend the rings to unlock it, and the computer is just like, cool, thanks, bro.
Yes, that's how it works.
So fucking stupid. Oh my God.
You did the work. The computer is going to utilize it.
Socialism.
Let's move on.
Okay, we already established who Robotnik is.
That's true.
Yeah, he's Russian Teddy Roosevelt. He's a rough riding Bolshevik. Let's get on to the graphics. Okay, this is where I'm going to be positive. I think this game actually looks pretty damn good, especially for 1997 on the Saturn. I think it looks. I like bright and colorful games. I for some reason I don't remember a lot of those from that era, especially because dark and edgy was in. But Sega Blue Sky, Big Blue Sky, like you were saying on your Virtua Racing Deluxe episode, and it's very synonymous with Sega's the Blue Sky motif, and you get that here, and because that's Sonic too, to an extent. The environments look very good. They look decent. The draw distance is adequate. I would say it's certainly better than Daytona USA by leagues. It's not bad looking whatsoever. The character models are goofy looking, and I think that's just because the Sonic character models didn't translate well into this era of gaming. They just didn't. And I'm sure someone's going to be like, well, look at this character model. Okay, I don't care. Sega didn't know how to do it, and if Sega didn't know how to do it, then they just didn't. I think it was much better reserved for when they made it into Sonic Adventure, and that's when the character models in 3D, that is when it flourished. Because the character models here don't look good. But for the most part, I think in terms of visual presentation, it looks fine. I had no issues outside of the models. I thought all of the environments looked good. They're a mess in terms of design, but that's not really a visual thing. That's more of a shitty track thing. So I'll give the game a lot of kudos in terms of, especially what the Saturn could do. It wasn't a 3D focused system. Not to say it couldn't do 3D, but it did it really well here for the most part, especially 2 years after the console came out. I'll give it plenty of flowers here. Shane, what do you think?
I mean, I think my opinion will be a little skewed because, like I said, I played the PC version, which is, a better version of it. I think more or less across the board. The draw distance is better. The textures, I think, are improved. But it was, even with that being said, I think I'm going to give it a less glowing review than you did. It's fine. It's fine. I mean, I'm just going to be real about this. I feel like for the most part, I was a little too distracted by the completely like nonsensical level designing and layout to really like appreciate most of the visuals. I mean, for what it's worth, I guess going slower than one would want in a racing game does give you time to take in the scenery. So it's like the Sunday driving of racing games in that way, I suppose. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's fine. It looks all right. I didn't have any performance issues, so
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, especially with slow. I forgot to mention, I don't remember having any slowdown.
No, you don't. At least I didn't.
No, me either.
Which I think was impressive. I think they actually, I was reading that some of the notes, looking up research for this. I think they tried to make sure that it targeted a smooth 30 frames per second, and it seems like they nailed that. I didn't get any slowdown whatsoever, which, yeah, I mean, you only have 5 racers on the track at any time, but I still think that's impressive for the just general scope of what the tracks are doing and all the mess it's trying to accomplish. Keith, what did you think of the visuals? You played it on the Saturn as well.
Yeah, I'm going to kind of mirror what you said. And, when I mentioned that I was playing Sonic R in your Discord, shout out to Omi, brought up a video, which I'm trying to look for right now. I can't find it. Brought up a video on like kind of like the technical details on how Sonic R was made. According to that video, like a lot of the stuff Sonic R is doing, it was very hard to do on the Saturn. So there's like some really like crazy technical wizardry going on with the graphics here. And I think the models, yeah, I mean, that's like one of the first things you're going to see when you pop into this game. You pop in, you select your character, and it's like, I audibly laughed. And then obviously my initial reaction to seeing the models on the character select screen very much complemented my initial experience when everybody started running. Yeah, I think it's visually a fairly gorgeous Saturn game. I really didn't have any problems with the way the game looks, aside from whatever. I got used to the character models. I think when you look at Amy's model, it actually looks pretty damn good. And I think maybe that's just because she's confined to a car. It was easy to model a car. Everyone else kind of looks really goofy. But yeah, I don't know. That's all I've got on the visuals. I think they're pretty good.
Yeah. So let's just seamlessly move over to the audio here. And Shane, what do you think of the music that has been, I guess, award winning at this point? I don't know if it won any awards, but I've heard nothing but just overwhelmingly glowing sentiments about the soundtrack here. Are you in that camp?
Man, you might not want to play this game, but you can put it on the background when you fuck.
It
is your 10-year anniversary.
It is.
You gotta set the mood.
Is this what Chris Chan uses?
I'm just saying, like, I had no idea about like the mythos behind the soundtrack of this game going into this. So I had never heard it before. I didn't know that it was like this meme at this point. And man, it's like, how do you even describe it? Like, there's sort of a reason that I said what I said, because it kind of feels
it's
like
real good,
strangely 70s porn adjacent in a weird way, but like also it's actually sort of unironically pretty good. Like, I think this music might deserve a better game. I think.
You know what? It feels like a Persona. It feels like Persona music. But, better performed, I guess. I don't want to say better performed. I don't know. That's not the right word. Anyway, do you not know who Chris Chan is?
Me?
Keith?
No, I have no idea who that is. I'm totally...
Okay, don't.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
Don't.
Okay. I have lost nothing. I also have not gained anything. So
if you find out, you will lose more. But I'll kick it over to you here. What do you think of this game's audio?
Oh, dude, this is great. Just like Shane, I had no idea what to expect with the soundtrack. I'm usually of the mind that usually the best thing about a Sonic game is its soundtrack, and this is like no exception. So initially, I was like, what is it? Like, kind of like Shane. I'm like, why does this smooth jazz pop music playing? Like, what, like, what does this have to do with Sonic? What does this have to do with racing? And then I'm like playing it. I'm like, yeah, hell yeah. Like, getting into it. Like, I mean, even just like every single song in this game is so good. It's really good. I fucking love it. And I don't know who, I was like desperately searching like who the vocalist was. And there's like, for whatever reason, the developers thought that like the vocals would be too distracting. So there's an option in the options to turn the vocals off and just listen to the music, which is kind of cool. Like, if you just want to listen to an instrumental. But I don't know. I think without the vocals, like, you got nothing here.
Yeah. So I have a couple of mixed feelings about this. I'm surprised you are both as positive on it. It's not that the music is bad. I don't think it's bad. It's just not, it's not my thing. Usually when I think about racing music, it's more rock. This sounds like up-tempo lounge music, which I think Shane makes a good point. Like, it deserves, like he says, it deserves a better game. I just feel like it deserves a different kind of genre. I don't know if this meshes well with the racing environment, and that's why it's cheesy as fuck. Now, if you like cheesy, and I know people like cheesy, then this is I think this is definitely your jam, like 100%.
This is not cheesier than Crush 40. I fucking refuse.
Oh, I think it's cheesier than Crush 40. I think it's way cheesier than Crush 40.
Okay,
no.
This is coming from Chris, the butt rock aficionado, so I feel like you might have a skewed opinion here.
No, I would never have a skewed opinion.
Like, this is par
Ever.
for the course for like generic anime soundtrack, like poppy soundtrack.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Yes. I'll give it that. It is a generic anime soundtrack. Was developed by a British man. That's the confusion here. But he, like, prior to this, he did the music for the Sega Saturn version of Sonic 3D Blast. And let me say the composer here is Richard Jacques. He did the music for prior to the Sonic 3D Blast and Shinobi X for the European version, which is the better soundtrack for Shinobi X, also known as Shinobi Legions. He worked on the soundtrack of Jet Set Radio with Hideki Naganuma, which is like a fantastic soundtrack, also in Jet Set Radio Future. Did the music for some arrangements for Outrun 2 in 2004. What other things does he have here? He was on Mass Effect one of the composers there. Forza Motorsport 4 was also on there. So he has like a lot of credits to his name, and not bad credit. I mean, he is very, very well regarded, has quite a discography. So Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed, he did the music for that too. And that is an utterly fantastic soundtrack. So this person has talent. So if you like this music, I'm not going to take that away from you. I think the vocals cheese it the fuck up, and it's just not for me. I'll say that. It's just not for me. It doesn't feel like it's appropriate for this game. However, if you say you love it, a lot of people say they love it. So I'm not going to sit here and like argue too much, because apparently I have worse taste than the majority of the people out there if they're saying that they enjoy it. So it's so weird.
I definitely agree with you and Shane in that this is the wrong game for this type of soundtrack. I definitely agree with that. Yeah. But as like just the soundtrack by itself, like, yeah, man, I'm ready to bang this thing in my car all summer long. Like, let's go.
That's awesome. I love to hear that though. Love it. I don't think there's really much to say about the rest of the audio. There's no vocals.
I mean, there's
no voice acting.
It has like the Sonic sound that you would want. Like the rings sound like the rings. When Sonic jumps, It sounds like the jump. Yeah. You don't lose rings in this game, which we didn't bring that up.
You don't. So unless you use the like speed up thing, the shortcut device.
Right. Yeah, but it's not like it doesn't make the sound like when you lose your rings.
No. Even when Robotnik shoots, like Robotnik has an ability where he can shoot you. That's his ability. You don't even lose rings if you get hit by that.
So, I mean, in that way, I mean, it has some of the classic sound effects that you would want, that you would expect from a Sonic game. So nothing that stands out.
Yeah, kind of going back to the gameplay now that you mentioned that, because now you got the Invincible special theme for Sonic going through my head. No abilities. No, it does. It has the speed shoes. Yeah. But only Sonic can get the shield, I think, like the electric shield where you can collect rings. But it doesn't have like any invincibility. It doesn't have the stuff that you have in Mario Kart. Like none of that.
Yeah, you're right.
Which is odd.
Yeah. Well, there's so much other stuff going on, Chris. I mean, how could you expect Traveler's Tales to implement Sonic stuff in this game when they're making this sprawling map full of secrets and hidden things for you to find?
It's directed by Yuji Naka.
Correct.
The best boss.
Yeah. Everybody, leader. Yeah. No, he was giving out promotions left and right. He treated his employees as fairly as you would want your boss to treat you. I mean, surely nobody worked more than 15 hours a day on this. I doubt it.
Never.
No.
Never. What's Crunch? Never heard of it. At least with Yuji Naka.
So one thing I do want to add about the sound, because we didn't. Oh, you were just talking about the sound effects specifically. So an interesting thing about that is, most, if not all, well, actually no, I'll say most because it's not all. Most of the sounds in this game were custom created specifically for this game with like digital synthesis, basically because it was available on the Saturn and the PC, which was kind of unusual for the time. But one of the issues that cropped up, and the only reason I know this is because it was part of the modding that I did to get this to work on modern Windows. And maybe you guys can confirm or deny this, or maybe you didn't notice, but one of the things that the modders pointed out that they fixed as part of like the fan patch for this was swapping out some of the sound effects, specifically the ring sound effect, because the stock one apparently is so like clipped and loud comparatively to the rest of the game's sound that a lot of people find it like super annoying. And so they swapped it out with the ring sound effect from, I think they used the one from like Sonic Adventure or something. But interesting thing to note there, also specific to the PC version, there are a number of added sound effects that are not in the other versions, but they came from like stock sound libraries. So you get like the goofy, like long skidding sound effect when somebody like comes to a stop in like a cartoon. Like,
I never got that.
Yeah, it's in the PC version. Yeah.
That would have made a feeling of traction a little bit.
Yeah.
That would have been nice. A little bit.
No.
Okay. No.
There's no traction. It doesn't matter if you put a sound effect in it.
I guess.
You could put a sound effect of
wrong.
Sonic taking a shit. He's still not taking a shit in the game, Chris.
I mean, he did in a lot of ways.
So which version were you playing?
The version. Sonic's definitely taking a shit here. Anyway, moving on to the patron pontifications. And what are patron pontifications? Well, if you're a patron of our show, you get to put your thoughts towards what you think of the game that we're going to be talking about. First is Lethco from the Afterglow podcast. And Lethco says, this game made me realize I prefer my video game mascots and go-karts. Thank you, Lethco. And I talked with Lethco on the Afterglow podcast about Final Fantasy V, so go check that out. It's coming up for Job Fiesta.
Can't wait. All right, next up we've got...
You don't participate anyway, shut up.
The one, the only, Masked Keaton, who says this is the 4th game in a row that I have nothing to contribute. I'm just chiming in so you don't think I've forgotten about you. We would never think that, Keaton. Don't worry.
No.
Never.
Matt, a.k.a. Stormageddon, from, of course, the Fun and Games and Reignite podcasts. They say, a flawed game that I unabashedly love. It defies logic, but I've accepted it. This game is a mess, and yet I still adore it.
All right. Moving on to, and thank you, Matt, for your contribution. Moving on to Alt. Yeah. No. Besides people using the Supersonic Racing song, this game offers nothing of value. Slap that on the back of the box as an RHRC review from yours truly. 2 out of 10. Fuck this shit. I'm out. I'm betting the next one will have a similar disposition. I don't know why I would have. What next one? What are we talking about here?
I think he means the next pontification.
Okay. The next, yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Well, speaking of, the next one comes from Randall, our resident PC shill, who says another game that exists that contradicts the entire point of Sonic being the fastest. You telling me that two-tailed fuck is as fast as the chili dog demon? Yeah, I don't think so. Thank you, Randall.
Yeah, no. That's the fucking thing I hate about like Sonic and his friends and everybody be like, oh, Sonic's so fast, but it's like everybody's just as fast as him.
No, what you don't get
special.
Is that Sonic is just slowing down for everyone else. He's very considerate.
He's handicapping it.
I think since Shadow wears Heelys, wouldn't that make him double the speed of Sonic?
Shadow drives a fucking motorcycle. Let's not even go down that path.
Anyway.
Wait, is Vector as fast as Sonic?
Yeah, he can roll into a ball. Just like Sonic.
The crocodile.
Or am I thinking about the crocodile in Mega Man X2? Wheel alligator.
Doesn't matter, really.
I'm sorry I brought up wheel alligator.
Okay.
Sega Boy 7 says, do I have to sing this?
Yeah. It's since you asked.
No, I'm not going to. Sega Boy 7 says, can you feel the sunshine? Does it brighten up your day? Yes, Sonic R is notorious for being a janky, clunky mess. That being said, it's a janky, clunky mess I adore. It was Sonic on the Saturn, and we took it and loved it, did we? And hey, you gotta love that soundtrack. I added the did we. He did not say that.
Yeah, he did not say that. All right. Thank you, Sega Boy 7. Lucas from the Game Over Hell YouTube channel, go check that out, says this game had potential, and it makes a lot more sense to me to put Sonic characters in an on-foot race mixing platforming with pseudo-Sonic design than to put those characters in a car. It's really unfortunate they never bothered trying this again, even though the problem with Sonic R had to do with bad implementation of the controls rather than the concept of it. I'm sure the Sega All-Stars and Sonic Team racing games are fun, but as a concept, I just find them less interesting and less charming. Don't get me wrong, though. The fact remains the final product is nearly unplayable. All right. Thank you, Lucas.
Yeah, I think he nailed it as far as like my feelings towards those other racing games.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, it is less interesting that Sonic is just driving a car when he's known for being able to go fast.
Yes.
Which is,
But now we know why this game.
Yeah. Yeah. But it doesn't mean that they shouldn't try this again. Maybe I'm going too fast for the episode. Maybe I should hold those thoughts a little bit for a little bit later.
I kind of, I agree. I mean, we are right there, but
Yeah.
I think I get what I'm picking up what you're putting down here, and like what Lucas was saying. I too would like to see them try to return with just Sonic characters on foot and just say Sonic is handicapping or whatever because of the complaint. But I think that would be fun. I think the control scheme and the understanding of how to put how an on foot hedgehog would work a lot better now than it did in 1997 on the Saturn. I think Sega's more capable of doing that today. At least I hope. All right. So we're going to be giving our verdicts here on whether or not we think this game holds up today, as we are wont to do. Myself and Shane are going to go first before we have our guest give the final word on the game in terms of whether or not it holds up. And I will go first here and say that no, it does not hold up. It is charming. There's a lot of charm here. In words, I don't really, I would have a much easier time describing as an immature 18-year-old 20 years ago. It has something to it that I can understand when I'm looking at what Matt was saying, and I'm looking at what Sega Boy was saying here. Yeah, I can understand the attraction, but this game is just, it's a tech demo. It's a proof of concept. It shows what a game, and Lucas said this too, the potential. It shows the potential of what they probably could have done if they had some actual development time and a clear sense of direction, like this game doesn't have. It needed to be more focused and reined in, and just have more of a design flow. The fact that it only has 5 tracks is terrible. This game needed to be more robust. It needed to have a bigger purpose, and it just doesn't have that. Not to mention, it's like the basic characters are nearly uncontrollable. I played this with the 3D pad too, which makes it better. The Saturn 3D pad, but
wait, can you use the analog? Well, not analog, but can you use the control stick?
You can use the analog nub. Yeah.
God damn it.
But is this something that you should go out of your way and play as a curiosity? Yeah, absolutely. Like, just see the depths of how low Sonic can go. That's what you really need to experience here, because there's so much right about this game, but there's way more wrong, and that makes it worth checking out. But does it hold up? I mean, absolutely not. And it's not a good game. This is not a good game. Play Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed, because that is the Sonic racing game you actually want to play. That game is fantastic. But this game is just woof. It's a big woof. Shane?
Yeah, I mean, no. I mean, the saving grace here, I mean, at the time, it was obviously a huge detractor, as we pointed out. But at this point, the saving grace is the fact that you can get through this game in like 30 minutes. I mean, if you really want to be thorough, 2 hours tops, I think. I mean, the length of this episode talking about the game is longer than what your average playthrough of it would probably be. And so at a minimum, it's not like it's a huge ask. You're not wasting a ton of time. And like, I get, some of the pontifications we had, that people kind of have this nostalgic fondness for it. I get that. I mean, I have the same thing on some games that most people would say are maybe objectively not good, like Castlevania 64, for instance. But I think, I think sentiment's coming around on that one. But, that's neither here nor there. But besides that, I don't really see a whole lot of redeeming value here. I think the idea makes sense in that, yeah, if you're going to have a racing game that involves Sonic characters, you probably want them to be running. It's a foot race. Sure. I mean, let's not even get into what we were just talking about how like everybody's apparently just as fast as the fastest thing on the planet. That 100 makes sense. But sure. Okay. Or you know what? Sonic can run and then everybody else is in a vehicle. That would probably make sense too. But the idea is one thing. The execution is very much another. And I don't think it's hyperbole to say that in many instances, this game can be nigh on unplayable. Like the fact that one of the first things you come across, I mean, like we were pointing it out way back, after we were talking about the brief history there of like people playing at E3. And like one of the first experiences you have, I think it's actually the first track, if I'm not mistaken, where you hit a curve that leads directly to a bridge over this like river. I never once nailed that curve. I just careened into the river without fail every single time. And like, if that's your experience, like right off the get, like why bother? Like, it's not really going to get that much better. There's just a whole mess of ideas here, and the dissonance between like we want you to race and place first, but also take your time to explore the levels that we've crafted. It just none of this makes any sense. So, I mean, no, man. Like if you really want your Sonic racing fix, play Sonic Team Racing. It's infinitely better.
All right, Keith. What's the final word here?
I'm gonna take a slice of my episodes and insert it here because I do like to get a bit of a view of what the general public thinks of this game. And so Xavier Nash on Google gave Sonic R a perfect 5 out of 5 and said, "This is the best game ever invented. I love playing with my horny bros." So
what does that even mean?
I mean, that's hard to argue with. I don't know.
Rouge the Best not here.
There's no Rouge. There's no Blaze.
No, man. He said horny bros.
Oh, well, how do they get horny? Are they already horny when they sit down to play the game? Or are they horny after they play the game? They're
pre-gaming it, obviously.
They're
I'm taking this wrong. I mean, you could be totally turned on by Miles, Tails, Prower, and maybe go to prison later.
Say, is he also canonically 8? Like, what is going on here?
He's like 6.
Okay, great.
He's 6 or
Love
5.
That.
Where's Knuckles sticking his 4 polygons?
Which website?
Anyway, that's just to add some levity to what I'm about to say. Fuck no, this doesn't hold up. Like, why no? And like, I don't even agree with you, Chris, to say like, if you're curious, you should check this out. Like, this thing is a disaster. And I guess kind of just to backtrack a little bit to the graphics and just how disjointed the set of characters are, because you have someone that are on foot. You have one that's on a car or in a car. You have one that's in a shopping cart, like a hovercraft or whatever. Like Dr. Robotnik should be like, there should be a track where you're traveling around a fucking Walmart in this game so that like it looks a little more suitable. Like it just like
Robotnik on a rascal.
Yeah. Like it just is like even just the character design is just so like disjointed, where it's like you look at something like a Mario Kart or something, which is like, they're all in cars. It doesn't matter what the character actually looks like because all of the cars are very similar or whatever. So it's like an even playing field when it comes to like visual design. And even though like, yeah, Omi sent me that link and that explained like how technically impressive the game is, it definitely doesn't feel like it's technically impressive. And even just like all of the, we mentioned earlier how like AM2 was like across the street. Like they could have had somebody check their work. Like somebody could have came in and been like, let me just, what's the meme, tweak the graphics or whatever on level 4, like do something, because there is that pedigree. Like Sega is known for making good arcade games. And like, there's a reason why Sonic R was never an arcade game. This thing it's a disaster. I no bit of like, don't let your curiosity get the best of you. And I know like your listeners and your patrons have a nostalgia for this game, and that's fine. I think even they realize how much of a disaster this game is. And that's why I always say, hey, it's okay to like a video game. But like, there's just, I mean, I'm just kind of echoing everything you guys say. Like Sonic, this game sucks. Like, I'm sorry to be such a bummer, but I was really trying to give it the benefit of a doubt when I was playing it before coming on tonight. And I'm like, no, I mean, this didn't set up anything for future games to come. And even eventually Sega was like, no, get this motherfucker in a car.
I think that's straight across the board. I think we all said it does not hold up. Oh, well. Sonic R, R.I.P. Sonic R.I.P.
There you go.
There it is. Sonic R.I.P.
The death of Sonic the Hedgehog.
That's a better game. That's a much better game.
Or was it the murder
of Sonic?
Yeah, there we go.
The murder of Sonic the Hedgehog. That's a fantastic game. People should play that. Highly recommend it. It's free.
Is it free?
It is. Yeah, it's free. It should be free. I think it's free.
Okay. I should get on that.
Yeah, get on it. It's great. Anyway, thank you for joining us once again, Keith, especially on our unofficial 10-year anniversary episode.
Gosh, I hope it was worth it.
I think it was worth it. I had a great time. But where can people find you and your fantastic show on the internets?
Yeah, so of course, hi. This probably isn't the first time you're hearing me. I'm sorry, Sonic fans. I am the host of the Main Quest podcast. I have covered a few Sonic games myself. Chris has been on a few of them.
I have.
They're not all bad. Trust me. I've liked a couple of them, even fucking Knuckles Chaotix, which is like, you want to talk about weird Sonic games. I kind of like that game. It's not great. It's not a good game. Anyway, Main Quest podcast. Yeah, you can find that on probably the very podcast app that you are listening to this. You can also find links to my Discord, links to my Patreon, social links like Twitter or X or whatever, Blue Sky, all that stuff. You can find more of me at linktr.ee/Main Quest pod. If you want some more Main Quest goodness. And thanks for having me back. I think thank you for letting me play this game. But yeah, it's always a pleasure to come back on and hang out with you guys. And again, I mean, fucking 10 years is a crazy amount of time to be podcasting, man. I mean, that is 2015. I don't even think I knew what a podcast was in 2015, if I'm honest.
The Wii U is still relevant in 2015.
Oh, sure was.
Yeah. Well, thanks, man. Thank you. You always have a spot on our couch, as you said in your return episode when the Main Quest came roaring back.
Right.
God, it was a few months ago. Yeah. But yeah, you always have a spot on our couch, man. We always love having you here. And thank you so much. Shane, are you ready to roll this out?
Oh, man. 10 years of spiels and dubious quality games. I don't even know what to make of that. I guess we got the longevity behind us, and that is definitely something to, I think, to be proud of.
Yeah.
I hope that we've put out a fairly consistent product. Hopefully people have enjoyed it so far. I guess here's to another 10 years. I mean, we've certainly got a big enough backlog to go through. So I guess there's that. Oh man, that's crazy. But anyway, if for some reason this happens to be the first time that you are joining us, you're just like, wow, these old fucks have been around forever. Well, that's true. We have. And the side effect of that, right, is for you, there's a lot of content out there. A lot. Content. In fact, more than apparently most podcast services will show you. For instance, if you happen to listen to us on Apple Podcasts, they will only show you the most recent 300 episodes, which you would think would not be an issue. But when you've been around for 10 years, we blew past that a while ago. So if you want the rest of the backlog, you might want to check out our site itself, because everything is there for posterity, for better or worse. And that, along with all our other stuff, including the Patreon and our merch store, as well as our socials and the YouTube and the Twitch, we got all the things. And just like Keith, we do the old man thing and have a link tree, because apparently that's not cool with the kids. Not that we ever were, but we're maintaining that evidently.
Kids.
So I don't even know what they do now. Some link in bio thing, I guess. I don't know. Everything eventually leads to OnlyFans. But ours is linktree/retro hangover, perhaps unsurprisingly. So linktr.ee/retro hangover will get you where we want you to go. Yes. It's a mutual thing. We're all heading in the same direction. So there you have it. Chris, anything that you would like to add before we close this thing out?
Yeah, King of Games 99 is still going strong. By the time you're listening to this, we're well into the throes of round 3, which is the quarterfinals before semifinals. Yes, quarterfinals. So if you like listening to the King of Games, it's still going on. Keith is a part of that. Go on over to our Patreon if that interests you. It's going to be going to the main feed once it all wraps up. 24 episodes though, so it's quite beefy, but it's there. Also, if speaking of beefy, if you like talking about my usual pitch, beefy assholes, head on over to our Twitch streams where you can talk about them. I'm sure it looks like taco meat sometimes if they haven't maintained their buttholes, and they're quite hairy.
Good Lord.
And there is a picture of Sonic with a massive boner right now in our chat that Keith provided. I don't know how he found that. He says he hates Sonic, but you know what? He is providing Sonic with a massive cock in our chat.
It's not that hard to find.
Keith, for that. No, it's really not that hard to find. Not as hard as Sonic is, certainly, in this picture. But you can bet your ass that you could talk about that when you go to our Sunday streams on Twitch or YouTube, even though people haven't been doing that lately. You got to step your game up. Eat Djibouti has not been there lately. And he used to talk about how it tasted like pennies to eat an asshole. So
I thought that was
good
period blood.
for that.
I mean, anything.
Don't ask how I know that.
Anything coppery. I mean, yeah, you got your red wings.
Yeah.
That's cool. Good for you.
It's like milk and pennies. Yeah. Sorry.
Milk and pennies. Milk and pennies.
My God, this is how I know I've been on the internet for too long and for too often, because I remember that being a phrase on 4chan for quite a long time to describe a certain bodily fluid. It's salty milk and coins. Anyway,
I'm just thankful I've never been on 4chan, unlike some people.
Well, you're probably better off for it.
I am.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, there you have it. I feel like that's probably on brand for us. So there you go. 10 years
there
and
it
it's
is.
still fucking obnoxious.
Yay.
But I suppose you probably wouldn't have it any other way, right? Otherwise you wouldn't be here. So,
No.
All right. Well, with all of that now having been said, and spending about twice as long on this episode than the game itself, until next time.
Play with your I know what Amy and Tails did last summer joysticks.
And it was illegal.
Well, it certainly wasn't legal. With the appetite for a true Sonic racing experience on a home console growing. Was it? I'm sorry. I did not write that.
No, you didn't. The appetite was there.
Let me rephrase this.
The people, they yearn for it.
They sure did. I'm sorry. I have to stop.
Shane here with a quick message. You know, the one rule Chris and I have always gone by regarding advertisements is this. It has to be something we use and can personally vouch for. If you know me, you know I love coffee. And Bones Coffee Company has been my go-to for home brewing for quite some time now. Their small batch beans come in an impressive variety of flavors like Mint Invaders from Chocolate Space, or Electric Unicorn, which I swear tastes exactly like Fruity Pebbles. And the best part? No added sugar or calories involved, just natural flavors infused right into the beans themselves. Build your own sample pack of 5 4-ounce bags to find out which flavors speak to you, or jump in head first with full 12-ounce bags. They've even got K-Cups. Step up your homebrew game with Bones Coffee by visiting bit.ly/RHPBones. That's bit.ly/RHPBONES.